I'm sorry we do not have some representing a church here tonight, and we could have used the prayer, I tell you. Need that right, Jim?
Possibility.
Bobby, if you would call the roll, please.
Okay, Mark Barker. Russell Reed.
Here.
Todd Hollingsworth.
Here.
Jimmy Nagle.
Here.
Jim Bush.
Here.
Kevin George.
Here.
Ed Higgins. Tony Neal.
Here.
Kevin Mooneyham.
Here.
Bob Stetson.
Here.
He's here, 2 absent.
Now, seeing how this is, if you notice, I laid the summary of last month's meeting, which is very short, for you to read. It says, did you get to read it? It's about 2 sentences long or something like that. Any questions? We are going to have to, what I understand, we're going to have to approve this and then bring forward the business from last month because it was tabled until this month. So,
Make a motion, prove it.
second?
Second.
Motion by Jimmy Mingle, second by Kevin George. All in favor? Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we bring the previous business on the table, off the table, to be considered at tonight's meeting.
We have a motion to bring,
I'll
second by
second.
Russell Reed. Kevin Mooneyham. All right, let me say this. There are 2 people missing tonight, and Kevin Mooneyham here is the chief of police, and he has to be at the meeting at 7 o'clock. So we're going to try to keep down the discussions unless it's viable. I mean, there's no sense us throwing back and forth at each other. We'll either understand it or we won't. Because if anything else happens after he leaves, we've got 7 people here, and that's a quorum, and we can go ahead and do our business. But any less, and we have to adjourn. Okay. At this time, let me. We needed to have the notaries from last time read to us so we can approve them. These people have been out of being a notary since May 1st, and at no reason of theirs. If you'll read them off, Bobby.
Okay, Rhonda Brown, Travis Hancock, Brianna D. Hale, Dottie Duggan, Cynthia Michelle Rogers, Faye G. Morris, Charlene S. Odom, Mary A. Floyd, Ashley Taylor, Hilda W. Farham, Holly A. Parker.
Okay, you've heard the names of the notaries.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a second. Mooneyham first, Hollingsworth second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, it passed. Before we get to Bruce, I need to have Rita Cook from the library step up here, please. Last meeting, we had a budget meeting before our Saturday meeting. It happened at 9 o'clock, and all the stuff that came through, like what the county executive is going to be bringing tonight, has already been through the budget committee. Now, they did not meet tonight, and the things that Mrs. Cook has here tonight, Mrs. Allen, why did I call you Cook? I know a Rita Cook. Okay, Rita Allen, sorry. Anyway, don't hit me with that thing.
No. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I just need 2 budget amendments. Neither one of them are where I'm asking for any more money. We've got a check for $1,500 from the Friends of the Library for books, which I need to have the book budget increased by that much money so that I can then spend that money. And the second one is two parts. We've got, the check grant came in for $1,900, which was higher than we expected it would come in at when we planned the budget in May. And we got a kind of a windfall for $819.93 for a penalty paid to us for a late delivery on an order for the computers for the computer grant. So that was just kind of found money. And I need that line item increased so that I can spend that on more computer grants.
Are there any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Kevin George,
Second.
Jimmy Mingle, second. If you'll call the roll, please.
Russell Reed,
Yeah.
Todd Holmberg.
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Sonny Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Mooneyham.
Yes.
Bob Stepson.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, and may I take my leave?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you very
Mrs.
much.
Dowling. Okay, at this time, Bruce Stillman wants to address, and Neil Applebaum wants to address about the USDA grant money for the Farmers Market building site near the Arts Center. One of the things, this is one of the things that was skipped last month, and some things are time sensitive, and I think this is probably one of them. So we need to hear from, who wants to come up? Neil?
If you guys could pass these around.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. First, there's some farmers in the room. If you guys could all stand up for just a minute, so commissioners can see who's here. Thanks. I'm here sort of as a sometimes grant writer for the county, also as the Chamber of Commerce member and president of the chamber, also with the Watershed Association, and as a board member of the Arts Center. So a lot of those things all tie into the proposed farmers market. Back in April of 11, there's a copy of the resolution in this package. I believe the commission approved $15,000 conditional upon a $50,000 grant that we were submitting to the USDA. We received $30,000 of that $50,000. USDA's budget was cut 66%, so they would have liked to fund $50,000. I think it's safe to say that, but they funded $30,000. Now we're coming back and confirming or wanting to make sure that we have $15,000 from the commission to build the building. Something you may have seen in the newspaper is this notice of potential conversion of floodplain. The proposed open-sided building, which is basically a big roof on posts, will be going in 1/4 acre of floodplain property. USDA, their main issue, I believe, is conversion of productive farmland. They're not concerned about the design of the building. They're concerned about us taking that 1/4 acre of good, cropland out of service. It seems a reasonable use to turn that amount of cropland into a place to actually sell those crops. So that's where that is. There may be other questions people have about the actual building design, but there's another few weeks to go before we have to, respond, or we have a few more weeks to respond to USDA on the floodplain issue. We've looked at lots of different sites for the farmers market. This seems the cheapest way to get a building that's publicly viewable, with a big parking lot, with a bathroom provided at no cost, a 40-year free lease to the county. So we're asking for $15,000 with a $30,000 match from the USDA. The building will be built by trustees supervised by Darrell. Any other questions?
Now, how is it going to be mounted in? I know that there have been people who expressed it to me because it is a flood plain. How are you anchoring it in?
I believe it will be properly designed with an engineer using concrete and whatever proper ties to get those posts tied into the ground.
Okay. If you'll remember the last meeting that we had here, it was a split vote, and Mike Gannon had to break that vote. my dissent on it was because we didn't know whether or not he was gonna get the grant, and that's why I said no. But they got the grant, and they had been already, it had already been authorized to spend that $15,000 from the county to be able to make it. I think probably some of the, and I think, Jim, you might want to talk about that, but I think some of the commissioners might just be a little bit leery because it being a flood zone. I personally can't remember it flooding up to that height.
There are people who have said that it, will flood into that field. The FEMA map shows that it is a floodplain. Obviously, the USD, uses the same map. It's a 0.2%, not a 2%, but a 0.2% flood map. That's what that means.
Okay. Any questions on that?
Well, I live in this county a long time, and I've seen water up there. I mean, and I have trouble spending the money knowing that it could wash away. I really have a problem with that. If it'd been anywhere else but in a floodplain, I would have no problem.
Who is designing it, you say?
It was the University of Tennessee engineer. And in the sense it is a pole-barn structure, it will not impede any water flow that comes through. Of course, if there's debris or riprap or something like that, of course, that would alter that. But that was the basis of the design.
Thank you,
And of
Bruce.
course, the USDA engineers as well have looked at it.
And they're not gonna give anything that's gonna be washing away, I don't reckon. If they know that it's a floodplain,
Yes, USDA's design requirements for buildings in a floodplain. Again, their main concern is loss of farmland because we've already designed the building to accommodate a water situation.
okay. They're redoing that bridge down there on across the river road. I'm just wondering if that is going to help with any kind of water going out of there. But we have met once on this, and it is a timely thing that needs to be done because of grants and because of the season coming on. So if there's,
Is this gonna be entirely on the Art Center, or is it set on somebody else's property?
It will be entirely on the Art Center property, whether that property is owned currently or shortly, or will be adjusted to make sure that it sits on Art Center property, yes.
well, see, wasn't that land given to the Art Center by Bill Smith?
The land that the Art Center sits on was given by Bill Smith. There's additional property beyond that is not currently owned that belongs to the Art Center. Beyond that is still owned by Bill Smith.
So you're saying that part of the building will be on land that's not the art
Private
center?
land, yeah.
We will only build a building on land owned by the Art Center.
I think what he said currently is it is not owned by the Art Center.
That's what I thought he said.
Was that a correct statement?
It depends on if we're 10 feet to the left or 10 feet to the right. So if we need an additional few feet, that will be required, the building will be adjusted. It will be on property owned by the Art Center. The lease will be with the Art Center and the county.
Who's gonna maintain this building?
I'm not sure there's much maintenance required. It will be a county-owned building. It will be maintained by the county. It will also be there to be used by the Art Center periodically because it's there, but.
I would assume that
County-owned building.
the people using it would be more than willing to take care of it if we're willing to.
We got people shaking their heads
Well,
back
sure
there.
they would.
Why wouldn't the Art Center be willing to kick in a little on the upkeep since it's on their property?
I think the Art Center maintains a parking lot and a bathroom for that facility, and currently does and provided that last year. The Art Center is a not-for-profit. It struggles every day like everybody else to keep their business going. It will use that building, but it still belongs to the county.
My kick, it's on private land, not on county property. And it's only a 40-year lease.
I believe the lifespan of that building is 40 years, and it's a $45,000 total investment. So it's a little over $1,000 a year.
How much is the lease gonna be a year?
$0.
Free. Is there a guaranteed renewal at the end of 40 years?
I can't speak to a 40-year lease. that far out, I think the useful life of that building would be expected 40 years.
Well, now, to protect the taxpayer, we ought to be planning out further than 40 years. Some of us could still be alive in 40 years.
I'm 44, I'll be 84 at that time, and if that building's still standing, I think that building has served its life well. If that's a necessary requirement of the county and the county's attorney, then I'm sure we can work that in.
That's all my question.
Okay. We'll probably be growing our vegetables inside our house by that time. All right, any more questions? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve this $15,000 that we have already approved, now that we know that we've got the grant.
I make a motion to approve.
Jimmy Mingle makes a motion, Kevin George seconds it. Will you call the roll, please?
Russell Williams,
No.
Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
No.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooneyham,
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes. Okay. Thank
Hey,
you.
Bob. Hey, Bob.
Motion carried.
That's gotta have a 2/3 majority. So we need to get to that before, do we need to
Yes,
get to that
yes,
before he
yes,
leaves?
yes, yes, yes. Okay. Which one, do you want the
That's the lit tax.
litigation tax?
Yeah. 13. I think that's the only one on there that's gotta have a 2/3.
What is 2/3 of what we have here now?
I don't,
Just barely what we
Six.
got, I think.
takes 7.
A full majority.
Almost everything.
7 out of 10. Yep.
7 out of
We gotta
10.
have 7.
67% of 8.
There's a litigation tax for, we're skipping around because, hey Greg, you were supposed to be here earlier. The litigation tax, because we have Kevin here, and as it's pointed out, they gotta have a two-thirds vote for it because of it being a resolution. So we're gonna do this while we have somebody here, and of course, I don't even know how you're gonna vote. But the litigation tax to pay for the increases of the general sessions judge's compensation. Evidently, Judge Melton's pay is coming up this year, and this litigation tax will come from those who use the services of the general sessions court judge and not from any property taxes. And it calls for a, I think it can only go to, let's see, if you want to read it, $6.
Up to $6.
Right, it goes up to $6 in general session court to help fund increases in the compensation for the general sessions judge required by 1988 Public Chapter 698.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
All right, so
Mr. Chairman, any resolution passed has to be brought to me after it's passed,
Okay.
and that hasn't happened. Of course, I realize
We haven't passed it yet.
well, I'm talking about some of the others haven't been brought to me. I've got 10 days to either sign it, veto it, or allow it to become law without my signature. So I've redone those. There's, you have, I put the chair, look at the second page, they're identical except chair has to sign it, county clerk has to sign it, and then I have the option to veto it if I want to.
Okay.
So that's the only difference.
That's the only difference here.
Yeah. The law says that, that the commission shall bring them to me, and then at that point, if I want to allow it to become, if I sign it immediately, it becomes effective immediately. But I can wait 10 days to either veto it or whatever, but that's the only change on that.
Okay, if this passes tonight, Mike, then I can sign this.
And bring it to me with any other resolutions passed now
Okay.
Thursday.
And take it to Bobby Smith, have him sign
Have him
it,
sign it.
and then bring it to you. Okay, thank you. Okay, you can see what wants to be done here is the fact is that we need to be able to put a litigation tax on to the people who use this to be able to pay for the general sessions judge's salary, in which we do not have to appropriate so far.
what I understand, that was the state legislature put that in place. in order to help a county like us pay for the increases that the state
The
mandates.
state mandates, right.
They mandate a pay increase for the judge, whether we have the money or not. And this is $6 ain't a lot, but if you hit $6 every time somebody walks up in front of her, in the end of it, it'll help us. That's what I understand about this.
Is this increase just enough to cover her wage?
This, I don't even know if it'll.
Right.
When this was put in place, I mean, she's, and I shouldn't say she, the judge has had several raises since
Right.
the state enacted that.
Right.
We never have took advantage of the $6.
Oh, The only reason I was asking was I looked this up and it says that you can only do this for her pay, that you can't
Right.
increase it.
Right, that's
over
all
her
that's
pay.
for.
Yeah,
That's
what
right.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So this will just cover her.
Right.
It can't.
It goes straight
can't
to
bring
her.
in any
Right.
more money than what she's getting paid.
Right.
Right.
It's just one of those.
Yeah, you don't put nothing back here.
Yeah.
It's all for her pay. So.
That's a piece of that fruit that's been hanging there and we never picked it.
Okay. Any questions? Any more questions, or? And I can't guarantee you I could even answer it, you know.
I make a motion that we adopt it.
We have a motion by Jim Bush to adopt this resolution.
Second.
We got a second by Kevin Mooneyham. If you'll call the roll, please.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollenberg,
Yes.
Jimmy Miller,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin Moore,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yeah.
Bob Sutton,
Yes.
all opposed, motion carried.
Okay, we've got another resolution then that we're going to have to go on, right?
We need to get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Number 8.
It's a good, I'm glad y'all brought that up.
Got a bunch of resolutions.
Yeah, and this is for the archive, a resolution to establish an archives and records management fee in Cannon County. Whereas Tennessee Code annotated section 10-7-4 authorizes county legislative body to establish and collect an archives and records fee. This, the modified one? All right, thank you. The archives and records management fee not to exceed $5 per document filed in county offices creating public records, except the Register of Deeds, with the funds collected through the fee to be designated exclusively for duplicating, storing, and maintaining any records required by law to be permanently kept. And it shows down here in section 1, an archives and records management fee is hereby established in the amount of $5 per document filed in all county offices creating public records, including but not limited to the county clerk, the county trustee, the sheriff, the county assessor, the county mayor, and the county legislative body, but not including the Register of Deeds and the clerks of the court, which is the general sessions and circuit court. And if you'll remember last month, the month before, we had approved that, which Debbie Morris generates herself, so she's being taken care of as far as having some of the books copied. She already gets a fee for that. Do I hear a motion to adopt this resolution? Kevin George makes a motion.
I'll second.
Kevin Mooneyham seconds it. Kevin Mooneyham.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollenberg,
Yes.
Jimmy Miller,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yeah.
Bob Sutton,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, we have a resolution to amend the county personnel policy to discontinue offering health insurance to Cannon County government retirees. Now, Mike, you had told us that there is no one currently receiving any of
I want
that.
to give you the history behind that.
Okay,
We had two And they used to do it all the time. It didn't cost the county any money. What happened, they would like a few months being 65 and they would retire, maybe want to stay on insurance, and they pay 100% of the premium. Well, we were told by the auditors that we can't do that without having some kind of study, and the study was going to, I forget the name of the study. But anyway, it was going to cost $20,000 or more to have that study. So we stopped this 2 years ago. That's not the issue.
Right.
And I said, well, why are we getting written up for it? He said, well, the county commission has not acted upon it. Now, the problem I had first was I have to have on there to where I've got the opportunity to veto it if necessary. If you'll read the second or the first line, it says a recurring audit finding on the county executive for at least 3 fiscal years. That's not on me. That's on the county, which y'all set the personnel policy, so technically it's on the governing body. So I called the auditor and she said that it's on county. It's not on the county executive. I had already stopped it. So I revised that and I just took the words out. I just took the words out that it was on the county executive and added at the bottom for me to sign it or veto it. Everything else is the same. There may be some dates that, we had to change the date because it was prepared for the last week's meet or last month's meeting. Other than that, nothing else has changed.
Is everybody, when you read this, think about it, if you're okay also with the change of the words, then we should be able to go on with it.
How much does this cost the county every year?
We don't have any. But it has to be changed in the policy book, and that's what it is. It's
The only thing you're doing is going on record in the county personnel policies as saying that we do not offer post-employment benefits.
Right.
That's all you're doing. It won't cost anything. Which we don't offer, but it's not in our personnel policy, and this will add it to the personnel policy.
And that's why we keep getting written up for it, because it's not in our policy.
And it stopped, but the reason we're getting because it's not in the policy. All this will do will be added to the personnel policy, that we do not offer post-employment benefits.
I think it dots the I's and crosses the T's, what it does. You still got time.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we adopt this policy then.
You got Tony Neal made the motion. We'll have a second.
Second.
Second by Jimmy Mingle. You call the roll, please.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Oliver,
Pass.
Jimmy Mingle,
Yes.
Tim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Lynn Higgins, Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Union,
Yeah.
Bob Tetcher.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, do you see any more that needs to be taken up?
Yeah, I got 2 resolutions, number 8 and number 10.
Oh,
Sales tax.
sales tax, yes. Now, will this call for a 2/3 because it's already,
I don't know.
we're gonna,
This goes to rescind it?
to rescind it, yeah, or just a majority?
I mean, if it takes a majority to pass it, it'll take a majority to rescind it on.
Yeah.
Okay, because this hadn't gone anywhere yet.
Again, I want to clear that up also. Do y'all all have a copy of the one that was presented?
Yes.
You'll notice it says, whereas the resolution to increase the local option sales tax that was passed in December and signed by the county executive, had several items left blank in it. Now, first of all, the one passed in December was passed too early. It shouldn't have been passed until, I guess, June, 60 days out.
Right, right. And that's why we're doing this.
That's one problem we got. So all you're doing tonight is looking at rescinding what you did in December. But another thing about December, it wasn't on the agenda. I didn't know it had passed until about a week later. And Cynthia brought it in there, and I think it was Cynthia, and had me sign it. All right, I went back and looked at that resolution, which I never saw. And there was blanks in it because it was a template resolution provided, I'll assume, a CTAS. I don't know, but I'll assume the CTAS. And once you pass a resolution, I'm not allowed to add to or take from a single word. So there's no, that's why everything has to be done prior to it passing.
I got this from Diane, who I think got it off the computer from CTAS.
CTAS, okay. So that's a properly written resolution to rescind the one in December, and you won't be able to pass that until the June meeting. Or if you do it further than 60 days out, you're going to have to call a special election, which costs
Right, it costs $15,000.
So what do we got to table that one to June?
Yeah, it can't be,
Am I right on the
it's gotta be
list?
within 60 days of the election.
60 days of the election.
With that thought in mind, while we're doing this, I have been contacted by many, many people, and they're enjoying the fact that we are 1 cent lower than Murfreesboro. Even though I tried to tell them to explain that half of that sales increase will go to the school system, it's still the fact that it's a tax increase on sales tax. And I haven't had one person say, way to go, you know? So we might want to rethink this after we rescind it on whether or not we pass it the next time, so.
Well, actually, we're not passing it, we're just putting it on the ballot for them to vote on to pass it.
I know, but see, that's what Mike was explaining. The reason why we're rescinding it in the first place is it has to be within a 90-day period, or else
60
we
days.
pay for it.
Yeah.
For 60, we have to pay for it.
Right.
Right. And if that happens, you know, you're going to have an election in July, and
Will our June meeting get us into that 60 days,
well, it's August 4th.
the August 4th?
Or what is the date of the election? August what?
The 2nd. August the 2nd.
2nd.
I make a motion we rescind it.
Got a motion by Jim Bush, second by Russell Reed.
And it will be brought up again in June, to vote on again.
Yes, because I also put in there to do it again.
Yeah.
Well, it should be.
Bobby?
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooney,
Yes.
Bob Stephen.
Yes. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why we are rescinding this thing on the Sunday beer sales is that could go before the voters if we voted in beer into Cannon County. That's where they voted in beer in Cannon County, the way I understand it. And you don't go for another referendum to have Sunday beer. That falls on us. Now, Jim, at the meeting that we had turned this down, you had said, at least let's give it to the voters to vote on, and which I thought was a good idea. But it's not their responsibility to vote on it. It's ours. So, the motion must to be made to rescind the motion to have a referendum in November for the sale of beer on Sunday here in Cannon County. We were in error when we called for this referendum due to the fact that if the county doesn't sell beer, then you have a referendum. If the county already allows the sale of beer, any other issue about beer is brought before the Board of Commissioners and not the voters. Having said this, the chair will now entertain a motion to rescind the original motion.
I make a motion.
Now, wait a minute, back up. You're rescinding the original motion to have Sunday beer sales? Are you rescinding the
No.
motion to have
people
an
vote
election?
The original motion was for a
Okay.
referendum.
Ballot. This is for the referendum.
Right. We got a motion from Jim Bush. Any second?
I'll second.
We got 3 of them. Take your pick, Bob. Put a Russell Reed.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Allenberg,
Yes.
Jimmy Miller,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Kevin Luhan,
Yeah.
Bob Stephen.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now, in that same sense, we got it up here to change the motion to allow it.
Right.
again.
That's what I put down here is to,
I think a lot of people's thought about it since then. I make a motion that we vote on it.
I'll second.
we got a motion to
Let's
vote
back
on.
up here and let's talk about this, man.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You're saying that we've already voted once, don't we?
We
No.
voted, put it on a referendum.
We voted before that, though.
Yes, we did, and we voted it down.
Voted it down. So that doesn't stand.
No, because,
No, what
Oh, no,
we-
okay.
No.
Oh, I
The
see what you mean,
referendum
yeah.
here,
I see what you mean.
We made a motion to rescind the resolution to put it on the referendum.
Right.
We did not make a motion to rescind the vote we made for the
Right.
beer sales.
Right.
So as far as I understand, that stands.
Well, now.
You can bring a motion up at every
You can
meeting.
bring a motion up again and have it discussed again. I mean, it's not a dead issue.
Motion to reconsider.
Exactly.
Well, then you'll have to
Who said
I did.
Okay. I couldn't tell who it was.
well, then you'll have to rescind the other one.
We would have to go, well,
It'll-
no,
it'll
it's like they
override.
said, you can come up at any meeting evidently, or you can do it 12 times a year to try to get it passed, if that's the case.
Oh,
You know, and gentlemen, what we're looking at is fairness for the community. You know?
Yeah.
We got a lot of people out here that have businesses and stuff that they're taking a beating because of other establishments are able to do what they do. And then we're gonna be losing probably some restaurants because of it on Sunday.
Well, what I'm looking at here is, I thought we'd already voted on it.
Right.
So we can bring it
voted.
up next month.
Sure.
And all somebody wants to do is put it on the agenda, we'll bring it up again.
Yeah, because we did vote it down, Jimmy.
So we could have beer sales one month and not have it the next month, I'm saying.
Well, we need to do something about that. Somebody needs to have the language taken care of.
You know, I just don't understand all of it. Guess
Well,
I'm kinda
like I
good.
say, what had happened if we voted it down, and then, and Jim was the sponsor of it, and he said, could we at least let the voters decide? And I said, I thought that was a good idea.
That's a good idea.
And so I voted for it. And now, it's not up to the voters, it's up to the commission again.
It's up to us, the way I understand it, because that's changing the time of sales, in other words. So that's why it's up to us. The beer is already here, we're just changing the time of sales.
Voters can still bring it up in a referendum, though. Voters can.
No, unless the voters do it.
Yeah, the voters
Not
can
us.
bring it up themselves.
Right.
Well,
they
I mean,
want.
yeah, I mean, if they get enough signed petitions and
Right.
stuff, they can do it that way.
And now, let me have something clarified. The one that I know was on Michael. Did you say that you were going to, if you had it, that it would be after church and before, and then shut down before evening service? That's what, so we're talking about a 5-hour window or something?
We can't shorten the hours. We gotta go
Right.
by what the state says.
Yeah, you gotta go with
We
state
can
law.
lengthen the hours, but the county cannot shorten them.
Even on a special,
Right.
okay.
He's just saying that's what he'll do. He's just saying that's what he'll do.
Well, I know, I'm just stating it. As a commission, we cannot shorten what the state says you can do. We can make it longer.
And I mean, gentlemen, I mean, my goodness, Auburn Town's had this for years. I mean, they've used their money off their sales up there to
good job, sir.
improve their town over there. So, I mean, they're in the county, and they've been reaping the benefits all these years, and everybody else has had to do with that. That's not looking after everybody. That's just, you know, I mean, the city alderman over in Auburn, I commend them. They had the foresight to see that it could help their community, which it did. Mr. Bryson, he helped Auburn a lot. I just think these people need a.
And this right here will not affect Auburn not
Well,
one bit,
exactly.
because they're still gonna have their lake traffic on
Sure.
Sunday, just like they've always had.
96 is gonna be wide open.
The only thing this is gonna do is keep the people from Bradaville from jumping right across the county line to B&W Market and bringing it back. where
Or
they're getting taxed.
Manchester, or
Exactly.
Warren County.
And there's a lot of tax money goes out of the county on Sunday.
Exactly.
I've seen it
No kidding.
firsthand.
I mean, we're talking a considerable amount of money here. And your Pizza Huts and all these other places that would like maybe think about coming in here, they're not gonna come in here knowing that they can't do nothing on Sunday.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Jim,
Yeah.
because you were the sponsor of it. Do you think that it would be better to have all 10 people here to make the vote?
We're gonna vote on it right now.
Okay. Any more questions?
And, you know, like I said, I mean, it's just a matter of fairness towards the other taxpayers in this county.
It'll raise your other sales taxes as well, not just on beer.
Now, I understand, 'cause you sell beer,
And do not intend to open.
and that's the
Russell-
only day off.
Russell and Mary Reed does not intend to open at Sunday when it's time. Now, it may become financially necessity in the future, but at this time, no.
So you have no-
cannot buy beer in downtown Reeville on Sunday, even if it's passed.
Yeah, you don't have a conflict with this.
Not that I can see, not from what I have thought of and studied on, no. We don't do any business directly with the county,
Right.
and the county don't do any business with us.
So you don't have any contract with them? Okay. All righty then. Jim Bush, any more questions?
Make a motion.
Jim Bush makes a motion that we allow the sale of beer on Sundays.
I'll second.
Russell Reed seconds it.
Do you have a time limit on it, or just?
A time limit?
No.
No, we can't have it evidently. It's under state
law.
rule.
Unless we want to make it longer than what the state allows.
State law.
Ready to call the vote?
Yes, sir?
Russell Reed,
I, Russell Reed, having a package license in this county, do not see a conflict of interest in this vote, and I vote yes.
Todd Hollenberg,
No?
Jimmy Nichols,
No.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
No.
Clint Hickey, Tony Neal,
Yes.
Kevin Mooneyham,
Yes.
Bob Stutzel,
Yes.
3, 5, and 3. I guess it failed then, didn't it? You got to have 6.
So it failed. Okay, let's move on.
Boys, get your petitions out.
Get your what?
Get your petitions out. Got the November election.
Is that correct? They can petition?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You can bring it back again next month, so.
Yeah, we can do that too. That's a good idea,
Vote
Mr.
on it.
Mangle, I
You
appreciate
can
it.
vote on it. Don't have to be no conflict.
I got 2 more years.
Okay, we have the next one, number 12. If I can see it on down to number 12 is that to hear a report on the use of the old Courier building to be used as a courthouse annex from the chair. I had talked with the people that own, that do all the management of the Regions company's properties. We came to a little bit of disagreement on how much value they really put on this building over here. And so I let them know about that. Hopefully I didn't make them all mad when I told them that this wasn't New York or Chicago, that you don't rent something at that price. Okay. So they said that they would go back and they would go through this again and see what they can't do with the rent and what it is. And I also told them to write it up to try to find out how much they would want for this building if it was for sale. However, they haven't got back to me. I called them last week. They assured me that they were going to have the meeting Monday and that they would call me Monday night, which they haven't done. I put a call in for them. I haven't got it back. The one thing that we do have is an option. See, we can have it under the ownership of, or the lease of the courier at this time for $705 a month for 2 years, and then after 2 years there would be a 5-year extension, which would be at $805. It would be $100 more than it was for the first 2 years. The problems that I see with that, and I'm sure that you would too on something, is we don't want to be all of a sudden find ourselves at the end of 7 years and then they come up with some unworldly amount that they might want for it or not. But we also have the same problem that we had when we started this, and that is we are running out of room for our records. Now, I put this one resolution on there after talking with CTAS about bringing up the archive fee to be able to pay for the rent and everything else that comes out of this this fee to be able to take care of records. And that would certainly subsidize it going back on it. So I'm up for suggestions. I know that the courier wants out, but they will go the lease. We would be their sublease from them, and it would go under the same same conditions as it is that they have right now. Plus, the management company takes care of all the maintenance. So, anyway.
Well, I got a problem with the uncertainty.
I do too, Jim, but
I don't, you know, that's, I mean, we could wind up in a world of hurt.
yeah, the only thing is we would be subleasing from Ron, and the one thing that would do us a problem is that we would all of a sudden find out maybe we need to get out of there and go somewhere else and do something. But as far as anything else, it still falls on the courier for the next 7 years.
The building below the jail there, who owns that building?
Neil Applebaum, I think. No, his partner do, or it's a partnership, and they said it's not for sale or rent. It is a tax write-off.
And somebody said that electrical and all services have been disconnected, and you'll have to bring it up to city code to use it. And they're talking about $750,000.
Well, I tell you what, I you know, of course, I wasn't for the courier office building to start with because we didn't own it. We couldn't build it. We couldn't make improvements on it.
Right.
You know, and we did. We're going to do it at the expense of the county. But if there's a building around here, you know, that we could purchase, I'd be much more favorable purchasing a building than I would be renting one.
And that's
especially not knowing what you're going to pay.
And that's what I told him, Jimmy. I told him exactly what I thought that the commission, the way that we would react to it. And that would be that we'd rather own it than have to answer to somebody who lives in Georgia somewhere, you know, or France, I don't know. So that's an update on it. I just want you to keep your minds open. Of course, like I say, if we needed to do something right away, we could do it for $705 for the next 2 years, and then $805 for the next 5 years after that. So we got we can have a clear sublease for 7 years until we figure it out.
The more I've thought about this,
I think Todd.
$700 to rent a building for storage, plus it's going to end up being between $12,000 and $15,000 a year, counting the heating and cooling. I just think we should put our money into something else.
As far as what? Buying,
I feel like
as Jimmy says?
Yeah, buying or having it built. We should save this money for a couple of years maybe and then build something or buy something that we own. I really want to make a motion that we rescind the whole rental agreement if we're just going to do it for storage.
Well, before you do that, let me get an answer from him whether or not they come up with a price to buy it. And if they got a price to buy it, then I can bring it to you if it's reasonable. You know, I think that the Courier is paying on $185,000 assessed value. Is Donald here?
I don't have a card on that. I don't know what it was.
Okay. I think Teresa kicked it up on the national. Okay, what Donald has is that they pay on an appraisal value of $185,000 for that building.
I just don't, I don't want to tie us down to, even if he agrees to lease it, I just don't want to tie us down to leasing that for 700, over, like I said, 12 to 15,000 a year just for storage. It just seems, I've talked to several people, it just seems like a lot of money just to store stuff.
Yeah, they even came up with that, you know, I explored all the different ways, and they said, of course, we'd pay for it, they would do all the building inside, all the remodeling and everything else like that. But then again, like I say, they want their money back, so that means the rent would go up. And
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion to
Okay.
rescind that. and
is there any,
I'll
before
throw
we do,
out a
is there any
second.
more, anybody else want to say something on that?
Well, when we got to talking about this, I got to talking to people, and I was told that there was like 3 or 4 empty rooms upstairs in the old hospital that nobody's using,
As far as records?
and there's nothing in them.
No, as far as
yeah,
storing
we
records.
could use them for storage. Yeah, and I went over to look, and they're all locked, and I couldn't find anybody with a key. So I don't know who's got the keys to the rooms or
You have
nothing.
keys
but
to the,
Well, I don't know, I do some of them. I don't know if there's any empty rooms. I think there is a couple, but I just don't know right now.
those records would be the ones that would be least touched. That's what we'd have to make sure, because you can't put all these records up way far away and then have somebody from the clerk from the court, woman from the court go up there. Over here, we would have been able to have access as far as the whole courthouse would be looking straight at it, you know.
Can we do like the registrar's office, put them on disk, put them on the computer?
I would hope so.
And that, with that, you know, we could spend more money doing that and have them,
Debbie just paid what, $9,000 for, it was years of books.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Todd Hollingsworth, seconded by Jim Bush, to rescind our offer to lease the building known as the Cannon Courier.
Okay.
I need a roll call, please.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollenberg,
Yes.
Jimmy Nagle,
yes,
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
No.
Tony Neal,
yes,
Kevin Mooneyham,
No.
Bob Stuckey.
No.
5-3. Fail.
Okay. Keep it in your head what we need to do then, Todd. All right.
I'd like to see what they want for it.
Yeah,
That's me. You know, that's why I voted no if we had that option.
right.
And I think we could have waited 30 days. I think if the man went to them and said, look, they're fixing to back out on you if you don't let them know something, I think they'd do something.
Well, like I say, I'm going to talk to him, so.
Or talk back.
Yeah. Well, I tried to get in touch with them again today, so. These are, they take care of businesses worldwide, evidently. Does anybody know where we're at?
13.
13. Okay. A motion to accept the bid where the money is to be borrowed for used fire trucks, which are to be repaid through the debt service fund. Now, we have already did a amortization of that for a 3-year period. We already know how much that money would cost. The one thing is that we have had a upgrading in the bond rating that we have to a A2, which reports that from Tennessee State that says that we will save $63,718.30 a year just for having that bond rating. So probably this amortization is a little bit outdated, because hopefully maybe we will be able to get a better interest rate as far as that goes. Now, there were no bids came in because we put it in the paper, but we did not send it to different loan banking institutions like we should have. I was unaware that that could be done. I thought it just went through the publications. So, we're already with the state's loan pool, and these people are waiting on fire trucks, but the only thing is, what I want to read to you here is this. We need to make sure that they are not buying anything sight unseen. And I think that we need to make sure that they have money, travel money, to be able to go to these places and personally inspect these fire trucks. Now, they had three, there was different people that had brought in, like I was sent from the EMA director, where there was this one company that would give you 3 for $150,000. You know, that's 2 for $120,000, like we had once said, and then all of a sudden they're throwing one in for $30,000. I don't like that. I want these people to be able to, these individual fire departments that's going to get one, which is West Side and Gazaway, to go inspect, find a fire truck that they believe in, and then let's do something about that. But tonight, we've already told them, and I'll need some help on this, we've already told them that this is what we're going to do. We put out bids, and the bids didn't come back to it, so we're going to fall back down to the loan pool, which we already know exactly what it's going to cost us to pay that off on debt services. And I think that was, does anybody have a copy of that ready? Karen,
130.
do you have a 130,000?
That's what you got in here.
Okay, 130,000. Do you remember what it was a year that we were going to pay off through debt service? Did you see that paper? Okay. Doug? Is Doug still here?
Tony, did you
Oh,
want to
Doug,
talk
do you had that amortization written up?
Well, I don't think it'll affect this.
Okay.
On the bids on the fire trucks at
This is where
130,000?
we took over.
Yeah, we need to go back to the fire department.
What he's talking about is different.
Well, imagine we're going to go to through the loan pool.
I'd recommend, this is the recommendation, to rebid it, send it to the local bank.
Okay.
the loan pool.
Okay.
And then, basically, with your debt policy, it says, go out again, especially because you got the bond on it.
Right.
Let them fight over it.
Okay.
Get the best bid. And then this next meeting, you guys can meet with the resolution, because once, according to that policy the commission passed, you guys open up the.
We got to open up the bidding for it, right?
Before the commission meeting, the resolution is prepared, and then you guys vote on it.
Okay. I'm going to have to put y'all off a little bit. I got to go. Thanks. Mike, do you or Diane have a list of the normal banks that you send to for bid?
The 3 local ones.
3 local ones, okay, Regions and First National. Now, how's that sound?
It sounds
Put the bids to them.
sounds like
And
a
of course,
deal.
that does follow our loan policy here, so that's what we'll have to do. Karen, did you have, it looked like you got something to say.
Yeah, my question is, could you, if you're gonna do the local banks, could you not do this and have a special call meeting and let us go get trucks?
Say what?
We don't know if we don't know if a local bank's gonna get it. We're gonna send it out to the state loan pool and to the local banks. We're gonna get the cheapest money we can get to buy them with. We're not just gonna get who we want. And that's gonna it may take us a little bit of time, but we're gonna do it. I ain't gonna say we're gonna do it perfect, but we're gonna try to do it right.
And I think we're already committed on getting these fire trucks for you, so. I know, but let's have patience, and then we'll get it right. Okay?
You've
John?
already been waiting forever.
Yes.
What procedure will we need to follow to go and look at these trucks then?
Yeah, can we all go ahead and be looking?
Yeah, I would look.
I mean, go and look. I'm not talking online, because
Well, the only way you could do that is if you pay for it and then keep your receipts. And then we could address that.
That's the way Michael and them did it.
Is it?
I can't speak to how they handled it when they got back.
Right.
But I know some of their stuff
if we
there.
found one we wanted, what about a hold on deposit? Because if you find one you want, somebody else is looking for it too.
Now, we can't tell you that.
I mean, okay.
We-
Not
we-
gonna do that?
we cannot tell you to do
The one
that.
I really wanted, or really was looking at us getting, I think it's already gone.
Yeah, that yellow one, I think, or was it the yellow one?
That was a white one with red stripes.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that one then. Yeah, we can't put the money out like that. It's gotta, everything gotta go down the line. And there seems to be trucks all the time somewhere, so somewhere you'll find one. All right. So we are doing nothing about that. Is that correct?
Not tonight, but you're gonna do a lot
We're
of
going to
stuff.
pass it on till we need to have some kind of language for it, so we want to readdress this, Cynthia, at a later date. And then how long do you think a good bid is for to the banks?
Normally, when I bid something like that, just the banks, I think I give them 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
I mean, I don't know that you have to give them that long. but that's-
Well, there's a possibility then at next month's meeting, we'd be able to do something.
Good.
Usually, you'll get a bid in 2 or 3.
Okay. Will you write that up? Okay. Thank you.
Tell me what the amount,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
it and we'll-
We're just going for 2 of them. We're not going to try that other. Chairman of Election Commission or his assistant will come before the board with a motion to amend their budget. That you? Matt?
It's the assistant.
Well, we've already given this budget amendment to the Budget Committee, and they did in fact go through it. I don't think a decision was reached, but I don't have anything additional to add to that, other than at our meeting last night, we discussed that aspect of it. The understanding is the ball is in the court here.
It's not here until the Budget Committee tells us something. They haven't told us in.
I got here late, I'm sorry, I was out of state. Did they not meet just before this meeting?
They did not meet.
They didn't have a budget meeting
Bob, you
tonight,
had a
no.
budget meeting last month, does that stand, what they did last?
Yes, that is, that's what we had originally had before this
Is
one.
this
right.
what you're talking about? Stan had me run copies, is that what you're doing?
Yes, that's it. And in fact, I spoke with you about whether you had the authority to do this yourself.
According to the auditors, I can't on any, I can move money from one line to the other in a category except for wages.
Okay.
And
Except for what wages?
Wages, and that has to be done by the commission. I got some more copies.
Yeah.
Stan, did you have a chance to speak with Comptroller? Okay.
Well, I don't have
Who's
enough
on the
copies.
budget
I got mine. I got mine
From last time?
Yeah, I do.
Todd,
I
do
was.
you want me to get one? Bob, there's yours. I handed some of them out at the last budget meeting.
Kevin, what was said now?
Is, Mike, my understanding that we were hearing from the Budget Committee.
Remember last month, we had a budget committee meeting and y'all, I forget there were several here and the budget committee recommended certain budget amendments, but then you didn't have your meeting.
Right.
So I'm just assuming what they approved last month, since you had the budget meeting last month, you can act on today because it has made and approved. Now, I don't know if you approved this or not. I can't.
We didn't approve it.
That's what I thought.
I don't think there was a vote taken. There may have been, I don't know.
Well, he's on the Budget Committee.
Yeah, Kevin's on the.
Well, either way, it wasn't approved. There wasn't a vote taken, but it wasn't
Right.
approved. It never did. It wasn't approved.
Matt, it keeps coming like we've intended it to do, is to go before the Budget Committee and to be able, and take their recommendation.
Kevin, let me ask you a question, since you was on the budget committee, which has been a month ago, but anyway. My memory serves me correct. When y'all had this discussion on this, when we set their budgets last year, right, there was an agreement on how many hours per week that this person was gonna work.
It has nothing to do with hours per week. It's a salary.
No, that's,
They're paid, she's paid a salary.
she's on an hourly basis.
She's on an hourly basis. They pay, what the
We
agreement,
set a salary in the budget.
well, and it.
That's what this
it
keeps
come
coming
out-
back to. It always keeps coming back to
Well, let me just offer a little
one
clarity
view
on
of a
that.
salary and another view of a
Okay,
salary.
Stan is the executive officer of the election commission. He is the one who hires her. He's got the TCA authority to do that. He is the one who sets her hourly rate, which he did on an hourly basis.
And which, that's what we passed the budget on.
Right. All right.
Now you're coming back and said you increased her salary.
No, it's not a salary. That's
Oh, well, it's going to her then.
additional hours worked.
Exactly, so that's an increase in her salary.
No, it's not a salary. It's an hourly wage.
That's what we got in, we was doing this a year ago.
Yeah. Now, I recall now.
Okay, well, just
Once we set a budget, it's up to y'all to live within the budget. If you cannot live within your budget, you need to get somebody that can show you how.
Okay. I tried to explain at the last meeting that
Once we set your budgets, once your budget is set, it's up to you to live within them guidelines. If you cannot live
Okay,
within them guidelines, I'm sorry.
okay, that's your, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you.
I'll make a
Right.
motion.
One of the best things
You
to
gotta make
do,
a motion
Matt,
Yeah.
is make sure that this next upcoming budget includes her increase.
Well-
And then start anew.
You know, just to rehash what happened, there was a consolidation of voting polls that required additional hours to be worked to send out that new information.
I understand.
Then that was reversed. So a whole lot of things went into play well after the budget was established. And the TCA code has a provision that when we have to make these midterm adjustments, that we have put in for a budget amendment, submit it to you folks, and then you have a say on it. And based on your yes or no, we have to respond, you know, according to that.
I make a motion we deny.
It hadn't been brought to the commission.
Hmm?
It hasn't been brought to the commission.
The budget meeting, the budget didn't,
Budget committee.
The
didn't-
budget
didn't approve it.
the budget
Right, then what were
committee
we
did not
talking
send
about
it to
for?
us.
That's my question.
Okay. So it's a dead issue.
Sorry.
All right?
Okay,
Before y'all move on, I've got something to tell you. 2 meetings ago, y'all voted to change the 5th district line. And until y'all do that correctly, we have a problem. Y'all haven't done it correctly, and I expect tonight y'all to make a decision to do so. We have an August election coming up. You can't afford to wait till the June meeting. Now, you have to advertise that you're gonna do that, you have to have public input before you can do it. Comptroller's office is sitting waiting for this, because y'all have to do that before we move the precinct lines, before the comptroller's office can sign off on it, so it can come back and y'all can sign off on it.
Stan, you were directing me on how to do
I
this.
told you not to do that night y'all did it. I told you to wait till after the election, and we would sit down and draw out the plans of Doug Ogre's right here right now. He and I are the ones that did all that, to draw it up. When we rescinded the consolidation of the 3 polling places, it brought up that glaring error. And the comptroller called me, Mike Gannon was there, you were there, and Harold Patrick was there. Harold went back and got him a letter, and he sent it to y'all, which took him out of the equation. All right, and as I asked y'all to do it, please don't do nothing until after the election, because we didn't have time to send out new cards or anything else. Y'all had a meeting that night, and the discussion came up, and y'all voted to do that. Comptroller Doug Turpak tells me that his name is David Turpak. Tells me that you have to have a public hearing on this. You have to vote on it, pass it, send it to them. We have to move the election commission, Mr. Studd's here, and he's aware of this, then we have to move the precinct lines, and then we have to send it back to the comptroller's office, and they have to sign off on it, make us a map. We bring the map to y'all, and y'all sign it.
You told me exactly what to do. And that's exactly what I did here. And you showed me that map.
The map we got is a temporary map because we had not moved the precinct line. Doug, can you explain it better than that?
My involvement in this was back, of course, when it was redistricting time, and then the election commission wanted to redo the district, the voting precincts, not the district. Commission districts say the same, voting precincts, some of them were moved around. You know, the election commission was wanting to consolidate some. How I got involved in this is, last fall, or last spring, the new governor, he basically got rid of the entire office. The office that did planning, they also did reinforcement every 4 years. My boss got a phone call and said, we just laid off 72 people and you 8 people are gonna take their work on top of your work. So, many night meetings, I'm very thankful that one county, Canton, didn't have to, what ones I had, didn't have to have moved district, so it was easy there in the precincts. Once I moved that, how the election commission wanted, I shot the data to the comptroller, and that's where I ended. That's with David Turpak.
That's right, and then
that's my involvement.
Yeah, so then we found out, when we sent it into them, they approved what Doug and I had done, and then it was undone. The election commission voted in January to undo all that. And they undoubtedly either have new guidelines or new instructions for us, and they sent this map back to me and said, since y'all have done this, it blatantly brought up the city had incorporated land into the city out of districts 1, 2, and 4, and didn't tell anybody. So when this map come back, it said we were in variance, we were illegal, we had to do it. So I called together the 3 heads of this county that make the decisions and made them aware of this map. Now, as I said, Harold went back and got him a letter and sent it to the county, and then y'all had a meeting that night, and Mr. Turpak told me that was insufficient to do it, that y'all had to have a public hearing on this.
Is that the way that you remember it, Mike?
Let me tell you, I think it's a misunderstanding.
Must be.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's at fault necessarily. We met over in Stan's office, you and me and Harold, and what it is, you know, I'm always kidding Harold, but every time a business comes in that's going to bring in some tax, they annex it into the city, and I was kidding about getting the dollars market. But what happened, there's been 3 or 4 times the city has annexed just a small portion, and nobody, it kind of went under the radar screen. I mean, it never, the districts, the 5 districts within the county was never adjusted to reflect that. So this gentleman we met with in Stan's office said it's a minor thing, but it's got to be corrected. Bob, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And what y'all got to do, I'll put it in country boy terms, only way I know how to say it. All y'all need to do is to run a copy of the map in the courier, advertise it, and say we're going to move this little section and this into the 5th district from whatever district it was. There's 3, isn't there?
4, 1, and 2, and of course it affects 5.
Okay, 4, 1, and 2. So we're going to move this little section from 4 into 5, this little section from 2 into 5, and this little section from 1 into 5. Give the public ample opportunity to speak to it, and then pass it next month. That's what you're going to have to do. Our elections, this is my understanding, our elections could be voided. Am I right?
That's right.
That's my understanding. So it's a simple fix. Just pass tonight that you're going to advertise this and show them what, and you're going to act on it in, this is May, in the June meeting. And that will give Stan time to get it on the ballot.
Where did Kevin go from the paper?
He went home.
Did we not put that in the paper? I mean, Stan said we had a meeting that night, but we didn't have a meeting that night.
Did we put it in the paper? I don't, I don't know. I don't
No.
think we did.
We did not.
But, I mean, that's not your fault. I'm not saying that. I didn't know we had to advertise it and get the public
We didn't
input
either.
either. And
They
Stan,
turned back
that
all
man
in.
didn't tell us that.
Okay, well, and but Stan, you're also saying you didn't know exactly what I didn't know.
Well, when I called him and did not get a map, he said, did y'all have a meeting? Did you vote on it? Did you send it in for us for approval? And I said, I didn't know we had to.
And that was never mentioned that day in our meeting.
night.
So
No.
it's not your fault, Bob. We
Well-
were never told that, and I didn't know we had to have public input.
As far as fault, I'm not doing that. I want the commission to know that I had
Yeah.
brought it the way that.
But to correct it, if you guys will vote to act, or just say tonight you're gonna act on it in June, and let Stan run a copy of it and explain what it is, and then in June, change the lines. It's what, at the most 20 voters, 30?
We think about 46, but we're not even sure of that. We're
And
still
right
working
now,
on
they
voting.
can't vote in the city elections, although they're in the city. So-
Yeah, I think you saw the pictures of the map where it took in some of the Auburntown Road right outside the city,
Auburn Hills.
and then Auburn Hills, you know.
Down next to the Dollar Market and up here on 70.
Up here on 70 behind the.
Right,
There's 5
probably in
It'll be an easy fix, and you still have time to do it if you just run it in, let Stan, instruct Stan tonight to run it in the paper, and then be sure it comes up in May, and give the public a month to protest it, I guess. I don't know why anybody would, because it allows those people, affected 40-something people, to vote in the city elections, which right now they can't,
When was this all taken into the city?
at different times.
2 years ago.
It's
almost.
just a little track here and a little.
Yeah, I understand that, I just want a time frame. 2 years ago.
No, between 8 and 9.
Yeah, I think some of it goes back to '09.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through what, the '08 and the '10 election? And it wasn't caught till now?
We know it went through the 10 election without knowing it because the map we had didn't show it. And the only way it came up is when we moved those consolidated 3 polling places. When we went back, the old photo showed up. No paperwork, nothing to tell us it had been done.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes.
In my understanding, I wasn't there at the meeting, but it's my understanding at one of the election commission meetings that comment was made, part of this was 911's fault because the map was wrong. I met the standard reference to that, looked at the map that was submitted, and it was correct. My question is whose responsibility is it to submit map data as is updated to the state? Because the map that Stan showed me was correct, except for one small portion, which was an inaccuracy in the 911 maps. So the state had the correct recommendations. So how are they getting this data, but it's not being approved by the county?
It should go through my office on that.
Yeah,
You should
Donald.
get a copy of index from the city, and then I should put it on my map, and I scan the map and send it to the state. So I don't know how it got missed myself.
We know that I called Roy, and Roy come down and talked to me about it, showed me his block map. And when we took it over to the city, they told us that they didn't have to tell anybody it was the incorporated land. Well, that left me with property I didn't know where it was at. And we blew the map up, and we got a map of the territory that is in question. And now that's where we're at, trying to make sure that it's corrected properly with the comptroller's office so that they can make the maps and we can get them in place and we know where everybody's supposed to go.
If we pass a motion asking you to fix it,
I'll put it in the paper.
you'll fix it, won't
I'll
you?
put it in there. Today is Tuesday, it'll be in this coming paper.
I don't know how to word it, but I'll make the motion.
I second.
Motion by Kevin George, second by Jim Bush.
I guess we're asking Stan to put it in the paper.
Yeah, I imagine
And
that.
y'all set a date, we don't have to set a date for the hearing, what y'all have to do.
We'll,
Next meeting.
and that's probably the only
The
thing
next
is.
meeting,
Yeah.
Is that June?
in our June meeting.
June 2nd?
I don't know what day that is.
I have to look at my calendar. I don't know what date
Russell
it is.
Reed,
No.
Yes.
Todd Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes, be the
Kevin
12th.
George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, while we were on the budget amendments, the sheriff had a month ago, and I know by the meeting being canceled, it's got everybody confused, but the budget committee did recommend these budget.
I got his.
This is the sheriff's department.
Is this part of the package that you were bringing us, Mike? Because it said, I put down here that you have budget amendments to come before the board. Is this one
I
of
don't
them?
know why.
Yeah, we got this.
Well, Diane told me you had
Oh,
some.
okay. Well, I took it before the budget committee, and I've got them next. Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
Darrell turned them in to me.
Okay. And of course, again, this is not asking for any new monies.
No, it's just moving money around within that category. It's within his budget. It's just moving it from one line to the other.
Right.
And it was approved by the budget committee.
Yeah. Pretty well simple, cut and dried.
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Jim Bush, Russell Reed.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Osborne,
Yes.
Kenny Miller,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Bob Stetser.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, I've got another one. And I think the one that Matt was talking to you about was also moving money around within the same budget. It's just moving it
Right.
from one line. I didn't know if y'all understood that.
Yes.
Sure enough. Now, this one, the top one and the bottom one, the top one is for repairs back here, and if you'll remember, Kevin Mooneyham said, why don't you bid it and then come back to us? So the top one wasn't approved. The bottom one is the cost for the reach audit. It wasn't approved until we find out about Smith County, what theirs is, and we're gonna try to negotiate a cheaper price, but the three in the middle was approved. That's my, is that correct, Bob?
That's
my
right.
memory of it.
But I've got to get bids and wait until May right now.
Yeah, and the three in the middle, and there's explanations attached to it if you, on the back, or I'll answer any questions if you got any questions.
This one's approved, this one's not.
Right, that's what he
Yeah,
said.
top and the bottom's not.
The save, I'll quickly go over the save. You'll see we increased it to $383.24. That's the litigation tax. That's what we have paid them out of the county general, which came in from the litigation tax that you guys passed. The good old days is totally out from under our books now. We don't have anything to do with it as far as checks or anything. The auditor suggested letting them do their own thing, and we were really happy with that. But they had $6,000 in there, so we wrote them a check, and we're they're gonna write their own checks. It's totally up to the senior center. Of course, the senior center also moved everything out too. Their auditor advised us to let them do their own books.
Right, right, and we voted on
The
that.
housing and urban development, the total $316,000, that was all money in, money out for housing. It's a Tennessee Housing Development Agency grant to improve housing conditions for low-income persons. The county general fund has received and expensed $316,025.18. That's the three that was approved by the budget. And I respectfully ask that you.
I'll make a motion.
My second.
Kevin Jordan made the motion, Todd Hollingsworth seconded to accept these amendments from the county executive.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Osborne,
Yes.
Kenny Miller,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stetser.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I think, unless somebody else can see something, because we skipped around here, it's also unusual that we do that. But I think at this time we have Commissioner from the 4th District, Tony Neal, wants to address the commission dealing with the county fire department.
I went to the last fire board meeting, and we all know what kind of mess they've been having here lately with everybody getting along and everything. And they got together and I guess you could say passed the resolution or whatever you want to call it, that the only people that the commissioners would deal with from now on are the chairman and the co-chairman. No fire departments, individual fire department will be able to come in front of the commissions and ask for anything. We'll only be dealing with the chairman and the co-chairman. That way we know who we're dealing with. It'll be just those two people. They think that'll solve some of the problems with what we've been having to deal with and stuff.
And who are they?
The chairman is Michael Underhill and the co-chairman is Michael George. They had the election that night and that's who they elected.
Michael?
Is there anything you want to say?
You're the chairman now?
I'm chairman now.
Okay. Can I ask you to do me a favor?
This is fire board.
Yeah, fire
The
board.
fire board? Can you get us a list of all inventory of all your fire departments?
Sure you can, right, Mike?
I can get the chiefs to get that information to me, what we
Right.
got in the fire
That's
department.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Everything.
I can get the chiefs to get inventory, what they got in their fire departments and get back to you with that.
Are y'all having any trouble getting anything? As far as radios or equipment that you're supposed to receive them through grant money or anything like that? Are you having problems with anything like that?
Right now, we have a problem with these air packs.
You're having problems with what?
Air packs.
What's the problem with that?
I don't know. Just 1 minute it's a code that got to go on the back, and 1 minute it's got audit's got to be done on them, and I don't know.
All right.
They've been set, what did they set for how long? 2 years?
All right. When we have our next meeting, then you can see if you can get us some answers to these questions.
Okay.
Okay, I'd appreciate it.
What brand of air packs are they?
Why is that?
ISI.
Been sitting there 2 years now.
June 2010.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you'll do that.
What?
on the next
How long do they
meeting.
last?
Batteries and everything gave us maintenance back in winter, when they come in and changed all the battery packs and everything out. Check.
What can we do?
They hadn't been used and we had to change all the battery packs and stuff on.
To help you get
Because
the
the
equipment
battery
you
packs,
need?
they had to change
Equipment we
everything.
need?
That's
Because
been
of the
sitting
date.
somewhere for 2 years. What can the commission do?
Oh, okay.
Do you know? I mean, seriously.
Put your foot down and have it done, I guess, you know. If that's, you know.
But I tell you what, first let's do, if you'll get us all that information together, and anything that you know that you're supposed to get that you're not getting, or whatever the circumstances are, give us a report in our next meeting, and I guarantee you, stuff will be turned loose.
What happens if you just go get them and hand them out?
Man, what up?
The air packs.
I ain't got a key to do that. I mean, do you know, Grady?
I don't know.
You don't know? You have,
I mean, what happens if you just go get them and start using them, since you've already got them?
I understand that they were, when they were bought, they were not good, something or other. And they had to do whatever they done to them, they done rebuilt them. They come out there and spent, a week, rebuilt them at my fire hall. That's the reason they're at my fire hall, they wouldn't come out there and rebuild them. And they were, I don't know, from that point, I don't know what happened, you know, something about getting them on the grant inventory at that point, the way I understand it. Is that what getting them on the grant, have a little trouble getting them on the inventory, so the grant will know where they're at, the government, Homeland Security, whoever that is.
but the UPC label that's supposed to be put on there, I was told all it is a phone call. You make the phone call, they'll be here the next few days. You know, that's right, that's what we've been told by ISI people.
I just thought of something while we're on this.
Okay.
Those breathing systems, are they the ones that come from Breathing Air Systems?
Yeah.
Brad Smith. Did anybody else get an email from Brad Smith wanting to know why they haven't been paid for them?
No, that's the Cascade system.
That's the Cascade system.
Yeah, I got that
Okay.
email too.
We'll
yeah.
get on that next then. Because that's fire department stuff. Why ain't
Yeah.
That's the Cascade system. I mean, the one we got at the mountain's already been installed, training's been done, it's in operation.
This guy here says he came and done it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's done.
It's Short
Yeah,
Mountain.
it's hooked
But
up,
we got
yeah.
another system.
A portable.
That's set at Vertical, that we're still waiting on a
Truck.
Put it in.
Yeah.
So what you want?
Who's supposed to pay for them? They haven't been paid for. And he's wanting his money. He's fixing to turn this over to collections.
That's through a grant.
Mike, has
We got that
been-
through a grant.
Has that been paid?
So why
for,
hadn't he
Mike?
been paid? This Brad Smith is his name. He sent, I guess he must have sent it to all of us.
I
You
guess.
send it to me.
And,
Oh, you didn't get one?
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
the Cascade system apparently has not been paid for. And he believes that it hadn't been paid for because he says he's fixing to turn the dogs loose on us.
Said he's fixing to turn it over to a collection agency is what he said, 'cause I got the email too. Said he's tried to get in touch with Faye several times and she won't return his phone calls.
Is it a
or
Homeland
emails or
Security
nothing.
grant? Is that what it was from?
It was just some kind of grant.
Is
I
there
don't
anybody
know.
here is on the Homeland Security Committee that might have an answer to that?
Anybody here on the Homeland Security? Roy?
Home Secretary, and this has been an ongoing issue. I've had the same problem with trying to get the money back on the tower side on Pleasant Ridge. The original agreement made back in December, I believe, with the meeting between myself, the interim director, county fire chief, and Mike, was that the invoices would be submitted, 2-week turnaround, get payment. The county would not even have to reimburse anything. That never materialized. It's come down to multiple phone calls, finally having to get the county to cut a check for the man to even get a small portion of the money he's invested. We had an issue with Homeland Security Committee this last time on radios. Decision was made immediately before that for mobiles. That was decided to break it up, the counties that needed the most. Question was asked for portables, 27 portables that was awarded to be distributed to different departments of the county. But the comment that come back was that there's months of paperwork. When that paperwork comes in, there's 6 months more contract paperwork, 6 months paperwork after that. So it's taken a year and a half to get this stuff. The problem is, get right to the end of these contract deadlines, there's the possibility of losing the money.
How does that, what do we do? I've had people ask me this and I can't really tell them for sure. It's like, if we put in for a grant, we get a grant for a Cascade system. Then, and we go out and we bid it or whatever, and we get the grant. I mean, we get our Cascade system. They bring it to us. Do we wait on the grant money to come in, or is it's laying there?
Some grants you pay up front, and they
Reimburse.
reimburse. Some comes in first.
And either way, I was reading here, he said he's 6 months out.
He contacted me, and I called Faye, and she contacted somebody, either that did the grant. See, some of this stuff's fall through that Nashville bunch, you asked it.
Right.
So, I don't know if this has gotten complicated through that or not, but as far as I know, we haven't gotten a bill. He's just, unless he sent her, but I forget what she told me now, I just.
But we don't have a bill laying in there that we hadn't wrote.
Not that I'm aware of, but, now she may have had one, but she told me something they've been working on some kind of.
Is this, do you know if this is a reimbursement or if this is a?
No, it hadn't been paid.
Okay.
So how long has this been going on with with your department?
You said a year and a half.
As far as with the
portables and all that
stuff.
And you're dealing directly.
It originally came out of the 2008 funding. It was awarded almost 2010. We're just now getting ready to almost finish it and still can't get full payment.
2012.
It's been an ongoing issue with other vendors and such as that. It's a good example. Has anybody ever looked through the paperwork, the Homeland Security and the reimbursements and such as that? It makes no sense whatsoever. How an auditor can even make heads or tails of it, I have no idea.
Maybe the old principle.
But a good example is Homeland Security projects get moved around, funding, the contracts can expire so they can move the project. Vehicle right now, prime mover that was awarded, $55,000 vehicle. How it was acquired was because of contracts that were fixed to expire, money was moved around, it's approved by FEMA. And that's how some of this stuff is awarded. Trousdale County, for example, they had a tower project that was fixing to expire. That released $27,000 worth of funding that Cannon was eligible for. She applied for it, she got it, took $20,000 of another project. That's how that was acquired. How you make heads or tails of it?
back to these air packs for a minute. Did I understand y'all to say when you got them, it wasn't usable?
No. No, they were usable.
They were.
They did a retrofit on it.
Whoa, wait a minute. They were, wait a minute. They were or were not usable?
They were usable, but they go down about every month. The batteries on them do quit about every month.
They were C, they buy batteries and they retrofit them to C batteries. I think there was like, what, 10 batteries were packed and they.
Well, now, the last air pack I used didn't have no batteries.
No.
No.
Now, it's been a few years.
We don't even have buggies
You
now.
stuck it on your face and you opened the valve and you had air.
Yeah.
But can you get that to us?
I'll see what I can do.
Also, will you bring your documentation too, what you're talking to us about?
Yes, sir.
And we'd like to hear both of y'all when y'all come back next month.
Most of the chiefs is here tonight, most of them, so they can get started on that.
All right, if y'all would get all that started.
You know.
Question, is there, all due respect, is there a reason why the county fire chief's not here tonight?
Yeah, Vines, you know, she never shows up for a meeting, for their fire board meeting.
Yeah, let me ask something, because we had been, I had got this email from Matt over here, and the county fire chief, Colin Fay is the county fire chief?
Fire chief here.
Oh, I mean, who y'all
appointed
voted
her?
on?
I think county executive, she was appointed, I couldn't know.
Okay, so it didn't have to come through the commission?
I don't think so. I think it's up to I don't hold you to that. I think I'm correct.
Well, I tell you, I've heard over and over and over, and we've listened to everybody trying to go back and forth on getting something done, seeing it getting done right, and I have had several people, not only Matt, but several other people that were talking about trying to streamline this a little bit to where we can get somebody right down in the middle of that will head the county's fire department. Somebody that will be active in it, that will be held responsible and accountable by the county commission, to where that they will bring all the problems and the woes of the different departments instead of us trying to listen to every single fire chief around here. And no disrespect, boys, Julio. I think that it's also would be, not only would it benefit the county commission whenever they have to deal with trying to get money for different things, it would also benefit the fire department having one voice.
Well, that's what Tony
Well, that's
brought
kind
up.
of what we've done now with only dealing
With those two right here.
Right.
Okay.
See, the fire departments come to the fire board and tell them what they need, and then they're the only two that's gonna come for the commission.
And if we couldn't be here, if I can't be here, Julio can't be here, we could send a proxy with that person.
With a letter or something saying that we couldn't make it, but he's gonna.
Giving them the authority to speak.
Okay, but you just asked a question over here. Even though y'all two are on the fire board, what they were talking about the fire board being Mike, George, and Underhill here is somebody just asked a question where the fire chief was, the county fire chief, which is Faye Morris, right?
County fire chief.
She is the fire marshal, I know that. Right?
Yeah, supposedly.
And the EMA.
And the EMA, yeah.
And the EMA.
Well, we're gonna have to get this streamlined.
Is she on salary?
What is involved?
She doesn't get no money, as a matter of fact, I don't believe so.
What is involved in that appointment of that? That's the first thing you gotta know.
Yeah.
To that position. Because if it's something that if that's something the county commission's supposed to do, we may not have one legally. But I don't know, do you know what?
Are we talking still about the countywide fire chief?
Yeah.
Yeah. TCA says if you have a countywide fire department, is what you guys have. TCA is clear, it says that the county mayor appoints the chief, but before you have a chief, the county commission has to confirm that appointment. So unless you confirm them, you don't have a chief.
You came in 2002, right, Mike? Okay. Can you check that for us? Thank you.
That would, but to me, would be the first thing to find out if we actually have one or not.
Right.
And then we need a, as Mike said, we need country board terms of what the qualifications are, so that we can understand if we've got.
I've heard here because a lot of these grants are very complicated, and there may be good answers to
Well,
some of these.
I'm hoping we don't have to have one. I'm hoping she's it.
I wouldn't make no moves
We
too
got a
quick.
damn serious problem.
But it, I mean, there's a,
But gentlemen, if
we
y'all
shouldn't
do
sit there
that,
and try to act like we're gonna do everything right
and then we'll put
turn
you
our
on the
heads
agenda.
on this or anything else.
Right, I agree.
We'll get it rectified.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and this may require some input from the sheriff, but it's my understanding fire marshals years ago did all fire investigations, but, you know, in years past, 10 years or so, I don't know, there's been some restructuring with that. Fire marshal is codes enforcement. You know, great for bigger municipalities that got codes such as that. If there's a crime involving fire or arson, bombing and arson is going to be who's called to come and investigate that. Am I correct in saying that? If there is a fire-related crime or arson, bomb and arson, post-certified law enforcement officers are called to come and investigate that.
I used to call the state, and they'd send one.
But that's my point, is there's kind of been some restructuring. It was the fire marshal back then, and at some point there was some restructuring.
Right now, it'd be either, if it happens in transport facility, it'd be the chief that calls them in, or if it's out in the county, it'd be my responsibility, but bomb and arson would be called.
That's been my understanding, so. There's been a lot of controversy over the whole fire marshal issue. That's great if the fire marshal has that title, that's fine, but what should we do with that title? I'm confused on it.
Okay, the recommendation would, as I see it right now, that we need to look at is, we've asked Cynthia to look back to see if there's anything in the minutes about the county commission approving the county executive appointing a EMA director or fire marshal. Which one is it? It would have been fire
Countywide
marshal.
fire chief.
Well,
Fire chief.
Yeah.
so it has to say county-wide fire chief.
If she hadn't been approved by the commission, then it'll be, we're at a point where we either approve or don't approve.
I think we need to restructure things first.
Well, but I mean, if we find out that she's never been approved, we don't have one.
Right.
Then we gotta move, we can move several different ways.
Well, if we do then, if that's the case, Kevin, then we need to write up what we expect out of somebody.
I agree.
Find out what the qualifications are and write it up and accept the applications and go from there.
Okay.
But make it understood, though, that they're also going to be responsible for applying for grants to help the fire departments out.
And then it's
See, that'd be part of their duties, too.
Well, we know she can.
I'm not
do
under
grants.
I don't believe that there's only one person in this county that can write a grant.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying,
I
what
think
we're
we can
looking
get
for,
grants
though, is what I'm
right
saying,
quick.
write it up, though, that when they apply, you know, in the applications, that they need, that they understand that they're going to be liable for writing grants and,
Right.
you know,
The hard
that's
part-
what I'm saying, you know,
the
make that
hard
part of
would be
their
finding
duties,
somebody
you know.
qualified. But anyway, that's what I think.
Anything more, Roy?
No, sir.
Okay, do we need a motion on this?
I done forgot what we were.
We're talking about the physical inventory of the fire.
Oh, yes. No, we don't need that. That's in a policy almost.
Okay.
Okay,
So
that
if
ain't no
y'all do
problem.
that.
That ain't no problem. Okay. As far as that cascade system, we ain't get that there, Brandon, when we still ain't got a vehicle for that yet.
Did Michael Buchanan give you?
Michael Buchanan, what?
He get with you?
No, about
Not a truck. Or he works with
the Bunny Bread truck.
Bunny Bread, yeah.
He ain't got with me yet. The last time we talked was, what, the fire board meeting when they still had a few down there for like $1,500. I think the problem with the ambulance service, or the ambulance that Faye's got, that y'all want us to have, the transmission got to be fixed, a lot more issues with that truck.
If we can get
Then you need
like
to
a
sell
bunny
it.
bread truck though for like $1,500, that'd be our best route, because it costs that much at least to put the
Oh, it costs-
transmission in,
yeah,
you know,
a
if
whole
not
lot
more.
than that, yeah.
So,
I would think, you know.
Hey, Jim, write that number down.
Is that Tony's?
Tony didn't put it.
Oh, he got his.
Well, I know, but they'll get a 2-year guarantee. Don't matter who puts it in, those guys can put it in. Of course, you need specifications on the.
That new breathing system.
Yeah, it is. for-
Batteries.
It is for an old junk ambulance.
well, the problem we got with the ambulance, Faye says it's gonna cost so much money to have all her stuff taken out of it, is that right?
She said about $600-800 to get her stuff removed out of it.
She's made that comment.
What
right?
stuff? Radio equipment? stuff
Radio
like
and
that?
stuff like that, she
Now,
said.
who asked her to pay it?
That's just what, I mean, it's, between this ambulance, it's just been a
Yeah.
Who's ambulance is it, Anderson County?
it's CMA.
It's EMA.
No, it's county.
Make a motion, we'll go with that.
It's county
else we
property.
got,
County
Bob?
property.
Okay. That's where we're at, and that's why we ain't got no further on this ambulance. Next thing I was asked to bring up to y'all is these fire trucks that we got in the county. I know that West Side, y'all done approved to get them another and Gasaway, but we got another one now down in the county, is East Side's is down. I mean, just, I got some bids here and the statements from, Roger Hyman, Hidman's, a guy from Deep South has looked at this truck. They got cab bolts broke on it. I think one bolt is hanging, there's only one, and it could go at any time. I reckon the cab on this truck is fly off at any time. We've been told, well, the actually estimate is, it says, where's that at?
I got some copies right here.
You got some copies, because I didn't make none.
It's Mr. Barrett here.
There's
Value
one
of
from
repairs will
Mr.
exceed the value.
There's
of
one from
the
Deep
vehicle, yeah.
South.
From 3 different,
I don't have any more from Hibbs. You got,
I don't know what he got.
that's right.
I got,
that truck's 10.7, it's not in
Hyman.
operation.
It's been down for almost 2 months now. That's the one behind me.
Well, what we've been told, once we get the one freed up at Gasaway, there's an extra one. but
There's a
they're
Burnett.
using- Y'all are using that extra one right now, right? So, we have a phone.
Yeah,
One step at a time.
but these other trucks is, I mean, they just holding together right now too, so keep that in mind too. you know.
Well, see, once we get these paid off, then we're gonna start replacing the worst ones and going our way down again.
yeah, we got one being paid off this year, don't we, on,
It's already paid off.
it's already paid
Yeah,
off.
it's done, yeah.
Right here or 60? These trucks ain't gonna last that long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know.
Times are hard, my friend.
You got anything you got to say about the truck, Randy?
Just down and their community's waiting, you know, it's just, you know, I've had 2 or 3 calls just in the last week. Carolyn Motley, you know, told all the piece back, you know. Just waiting, you know. That's, I want to say this, that's the reason the other night I said when y'all asked me if the fire board had to vote whether or not Gasaway would get a fire truck. And I said, I don't know, because I knew our truck, we were having an estimate, I mean, you know, see about getting it fixed. And we hadn't got it at that time, you know, see if it was fixable, and we did that the next day. Because we was gonna recommend 2 trucks, we was gonna, might be gonna have 3. We need, that's the reason I answered that question like that. Maybe I thought I was being smart, but I wasn't. That's the reason I said that.
But we have had, people pay attention. They pay attention to what happens here in this commission meeting too. And we've had all kinds of different solutions offered to us and different things like that, by buying all brand new fire trucks, which would be suicide for our county budget for the next several years. And one of the things that we were able to do now was be able to come up and say, okay, well, we can get you 2 of them as far as that goes. There needs to be we need to know ahead of time. We can't, you know, that's been the problem ever since I've been here. Is you always come up at the very last minute and you say, this is broke. We got to do something other than that, you know.
Well, I can tell you right now, all the fire trucks need to be replaced.
Started saying, in the fire department's defense, they've been hollering it's broke for a while.
Yeah.
We just hadn't, I don't know if
We've been putting in the budget.
We've been putting them off.
$200,000 for a fire truck every year that gets turned down for.
And it could be running one day broke the next.
Well, that, I can see that being turned down a lot as far as that goes.
It ain't like we ain't been asking for trucks.
We need to.
That truck is a 74 model Mack. 36 years old.
We got a sheriff sitting over there, sure, I'd say he needs guard.
Well, as far as the truck being a 74 model Mack, it's not the only old truck in the county.
No.
It's not. I mean, and there's nobody at this table saying that y'all's truck ain't broke now. We know it is. We also know that it's just not a big pile of money for us to reach and grab it.
And the thing is, we do want to be able to, we'd love to be able to pull a rabbit out of the hat and do something like that. And we are really on our way of getting a financially sound system going here. And that's why I ask for patience sometime as far as that goes. Now, we are going to get the 2 we know of. Hey, maybe we'll be able to swing something else. I don't know. We got budgets coming up where everybody's going to want some kind of pay raise because they haven't had one in 5 years. You know, and that's only fair, in my opinion, because the fact is that we got everybody else getting our best people because they're not making enough money. You've got to be a hero for your family. They got to be able to look at you and know that you're going to take care of everything. And you can't do it if you're holding down 2 jobs or you don't get paid enough just because you chose this life to be a public servant, you know. So, I mean, we're looking at that. We want y'all to have good equipment. Our lives depend upon it.
Yeah, they got to be heroes for us.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah, I know.
On any given instant.
You tell me how to do it.
I don't know either. But
okay.
But we've done more in the last couple of years than it's been done in a long time, and we ain't going to stop after three trucks.
Can you make the comment a while ago
lottery tickets and donate the winnings?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Pay sales tax next month.
Can you make a comment a while ago that they said they could get 3 trucks for 150?
Well, where you gonna get the money?
And we're spending 130 for 2?
Yeah.
Why not look at the 3, and that way the 3 departments that's down will have one. And then as we're gonna go on and replace them.
Well, that was one of the things that I was saying though, Tony, was it kind of scared me a little bit that we're talking to this company. It's come through Faye Morris. She had found them up in Indiana, I think, or someplace. But we're talking to this company about 2 of them. They said, hey, listen here, for another $20,000, we'll throw in a 3rd one. Well, we're already paying $60,000 for each, and then you're going to throw in another one for $20,000. That doesn't seem to me like it's.
Mr. Chairman.
Do I?
Address the commission.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Myself and Jason and TJ Vogel went and looked at these trucks, and they're not new. They're 88 to 93 model trucks, but they're aluminum bodies, they're aluminum tanks, they're well made, and he goes over them completely. He's been doing it with this other guy for how long? 25, 30 years. They've been restoring them and sending them back out on the road. He's actually, he sold the same truck numerous times to different communities. As people buy or get money, they bring these trucks back, and then he restores them and resells them. And then they upgrade when they build their revenue up in their community and they can buy a better vehicle. And we had talked about developing a program through our budget and with our funds to be able to get our fleet 10 years, 15 years newer than what it is. I mean, we're not looking for miracles, we understand. But if we can get a method down where we can do this, and we won't get a pig in the poke with this guy. I was afraid of that too, because that's what we wound up the first time we did this. We got 7 trucks, and we wound up with 2 lemons. And I don't think we're gonna wind up with that situation, because we've looked at these trucks already, and warranty, gave us a warranty, said, you know, he would come and train us on these trucks, because that's gonna be another situation, offered to come to our county and teach us how to use these new trucks, new to us. And it seemed like a very good deal, a very good option.
What kind of
Now,
warranty?
I don't want to say that, yes, I'll go pick out West Side's truck. I mean, he said he can have 6 or 8 trucks there for us to choose from.
What kind of warranty did he say he would give you?
He said a 90-day warranty.
90 days.
90 days?
Yep.
But that would give us enough time if we wanted to take it to somebody else and have them go over. Which, in my opinion, after talking to this guy.
Certified, pump tested, ready to go.
Right, which is something that we've never done to any of our trucks. They've never been pump tested in the entire time we've had a county fire department.
What's the name of this company?
Burnett.
Casey Burnett, it's right there, he's the one that gave the estimate.
To fix it, yeah, okay. Burnett's Fire, from Friendship.
After meeting them gentlemen, I think he's very honorable and would do the right thing by us. And he's close, he's in Friendship, Tennessee, which is not far. We drove out there 2.5 hours.
Okay, one of the things that you must understand, and I'm glad that y'all went and looked at them, and the fact is that evidently aluminum is better to keep down the kind of rust that East Side has taken, right? Okay. We still have to go through the bidding process for the money, so that is 2 weeks. These trucks that you talked to him, he still got them?
As Friday, he was still able to get them trucks.
Karen, have you seen, have you gone with these? Do you know anything about these trucks? Okay. Okay, you can't do anything until we get these bids, so we're going to be getting the bids out, and I'll let you know something. And then the fact is that we got another meeting coming up on the 12th of June. Now, before we go, I want to, well, right now, anybody in the audience, do you have anything that needs to come before the, Ricky?
First thing is, on bad debt collection, finished Cook, AAA, our billing company wants to take it over. And I just need to know if it's okay for them to do it. So right now, they send bad debt collection to Cook, but they're requiring so much paperwork, and they can give us the same deal that they do in Cook.
Okay, and refresh my memory a little bit, Ricky. We can stop our association with the company on when?
Talking about a building company?
Yeah.
We've got to give them, I think, a 90-day notice before we can start.
Okay, so that if all of a sudden something goes south and everything else, we say, whoa, well, we don't want this to. Okay.
But this is bad debt collection, which we use someone else other than a building company.
You're doing it anyway, and you think that this company can do it better.
Okay. And it'd be a lot easier on them.
And you're looking for permission from us?
Yes.
Okay. You heard that? Do I have a motion that he be able to use that company for bad debt billing?
I'll make the motion.
Got one on Kevin
I'll second that motion.
and second on Tony. Go ahead, Paul.
Russell Reed,
Yes.
Todd Hollenberg,
Yes.
Jimmy Mingle,
Yes.
Jim Bush,
Yes.
Kevin George,
Yes.
Tony Neal,
Yes.
Bob Stetcher.
Yes. Okay, finally.
One more thing.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. Go ahead.
I think it's been 4, 5, 6 months ago, I came to you all about a grant that we could give to coaches for new animals. And I think the money went from 25 all the way down to 10, now it's back up to 15,000 for new animals. I mentioned it last month in our budget meeting. Mr. George said something we have to think about. That's including the $15,000 plus the trade-in. And we're willing to give, we need one so bad that we're willing to give. We've got a some money that we've been collecting since 1989. We've got about $35,000 left in there. We'd be willing to give some of that toward that purchase of the new ambulance.
What are you calling
Y'all
some?
have-
What are you calling some?
15, 20,000.
20?
What is that, where'd that money come from?
That's just how bad we need.
It's an equipment fund that was set up back in 1989.
Then we can trade it over and in and probably.
Still got it laying there?
Yep, it's been
Another
building.
15 on a
Like,
trade?
it's for big purchases that we need to, we don't have to go, but ask him, ask him.
He's telling you.
Fire department, use a mobile air unit. I mean, I think a town, they might not want that kind of truck, but, I mean, it's a good truck. It's bad. It's not, I don't mean to say, it's not that good for, hauling patients, but.
Right, as far as hauling something like that, it would be. Yeah.
You can use it either way. We can use it as a trade-in, probably get in.
And that's one of them big box ones, aren't they?
Right.
Okay, well,
If I understand right, the air pack system doesn't have to be the first thing to the fire, does it?
No, that's just
No.
refill your bottles as you use them.
But if you call him, he needs to be the first one now.
Yeah.
right. Right.
Well,
I think that we did do that back several months ago on his ambulance, as far as that goes.
Yeah, I
What's the
remember
total,
that.
Ricky, on a new ambulance?
They can run anywhere from, if you get a demonstrator, you might get one for about 100, but if you get one built, it'll run anywhere from 105 to 115.
And you're asking 15 from the county? Is that what you're asking for? or-
No, we gotta catch the rest of it.
Grant
Oh.
15.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood.
Try to
Okay.
trade it in to be 15.
Right.
And we've got some money that we've been collecting for, well, since 1989, the county commission approved that we collected.
And that's on equipment monies, right?
We bought some equipment out of it that we really needed. We do have some left, we'd be willing to get some of that.
That'd have us give him 15 for a mobile.
So what are we as a commission asked to do as far as money wise tonight?
I don't know.
1,500.
You're asking us to approve
Yeah,
it?
to approve him to go ahead with it. That'd be how much they're asking for, about 50,000 from the
65,000
county?
is our part.
More than
on
that,
the
ain't it?
ambulance.
If he trades it in, he's looking, that's just 30.
So before the budget committee and see where you're gonna move that money from.
So you're looking at
That
65,000
really needs to
from
go
the
for
county.
that, but back.
Remount, just get buying a new truck and put an old box on it and run. The last one we done, I was like 76,000. That is still an old box. I think we only one of them we bought on our third remount.
25 to 35.
Could your box go another remount?
I'm sure they can make it work. I'm sure they could.
Make it work.
Do we have the money?
Well, budget time's coming up, then we'll see what we got.
Because that money have to come straight out of the county general.
Exactly.
It'll come out of the fund balance.
Right.
Not county, I think came out, most time y'all usually buy them out of debt service.
Well, yeah, we'll borrow the money on it. That's right.
65, 120, 35.
I wish we had enough in there to buy them out of fund balance. Yeah.
Well, the grant, I'm pretty sure that the grant that we've applied for, and we've been awarded, which always been on, we have to accept it. I don't think they won't go for a remount, I think that's the first report.
If it's 75.
You've already been told you got that.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's why we did what we did. Right.
They already in the process of working paperwork, they had completed it, but that's okay for commission.
Yeah.
Go ahead and complete
You
it.
figurers down there, the ones that have been doing that figuring, what'd you figure?
If you go ahead. Go ahead.
If you go to new ambulance, I figure 65,000 on the county's end, and if remount would be about 25,000 on the county's end.
How many ambulances you got that's got remounts? Has any of them got new boxes on them?
All of them remounted.
At least once.
Yeah, probably. Almost, I think we got one on maybe the third, fourth remount. We got at least one, I think, is on the second remount.
And that's the one we done, last year before last.
Yeah.
Would you say the grant was only good for a new ambulance though?
So we're wasting our time figuring on the remount.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think, Todd?
if you get the.
If I need an ambulance, I want a good one. I mean, my son's liable to need it more than anybody sitting at this table.
Mine is too, the way I do.
They got the grant part up for it.
I mean,
Hey, $40,000 on a remount, even if we take away the grant money.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well,
we're
you don't
still.
have a trade-in on remount.
You don't have a trade-in on the remount, you don't have the grant on.
I think it's gonna be a wash between the two.
You don't have a grant on the remount, do you?
No.
No.
The grant's only for a new one, right?
New one, yeah.
So if you,
And even if it wasn't, we still have to keep the same box, because you can't count that off.
But that's what I'm saying. You asked him, said that, would that box be good for another remount? And he said yes.
right.
But doing that though, you take your trade-in away and the grant.
That's right. It's a wash. Same money either way, might as well get a new one.
Well,
Is that right?
They have to
Seems like
paperwork.
5,000 to 10,000.
We'll wait another month, I'll call them, let them know. It'll probably be June before I put, one way or the other.
I think that would be good. I really do, because for you to be able to come up tonight, and we're trying to work on the fire trucks and everything at the same time, so if you could give us a month, maybe we'd be able to help you out.
Because he's gonna have to wait till we get.
The budgets. Mike, how far along are you with you?
Start Thursday. Now, how long does this grant, how long have we got, Ricky, to apply for it?
Well, we've already applied, they already in the process of writing it up, finishing it up.
Wouldn't this be better off handled through a budget procedure? When we start our budget, in other words, when you've already proposed your budget, propose also this ambulance, because this will come out of debt service.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what's going to be paid off this year, we might could just transfer that over to the payment of the new ambulance. I'm thinking ambulance, or, no, maybe it's that fire truck we bought. One of them is, this is the last year we paid off.
Well,
Yeah, the fire truck, it's done paid off.
Just now been paid off,
So we
everything.
could actually let the budget committee, during the procedure of the budget, let them look at it and then take the same money you're paying on the fire truck for 3 or 5 years, however long, and pay for the ambulance. That's the way I would do it. I do it through the budget committee.
Which your bond rate, again, there we go.
It needs
We
to-
can save money there.
We're actually spending our fire truck money on these two new fire trucks. But either way, it really needs to go through the budget.
I think it ought to be
I've-
done through
yeah.
through the budget hearings, is what I mean to say. And they start Thursday night at 6 o'clock.
Do we need to tell him instead of putting a bid out for 130 to go 150? Since we're thinking about the 3 fire trucks instead of the 2?
Well, we approved the 2. We never did approve a 3 package.
We can do it from 130 to 175, just tell them, or 150 or something. In other words, then y'all will adjust it later. I can have a bid.
As far as include the ambulance with it, or the 3rd fire truck, which one?
Well, since, Ricky, did you say your other ambulance is gonna be paid off?
I believe that's what, Mike was talking about, it should be paid off, I think, this year.
Ricky, I don't know if it's that your ambulance or the fire truck. It may be
Well, the fire truck's already
The fire
paid.
truck's already paid off. I think it paid off like last month or
Maybe
something.
There's
So.
something that's going to be paid up. There's 2 or 3 things that have been paid off in the last year or two, just the time, we've had them financed for 3 years.
Let's just go through the budget committee and then we'll know what's gonna be paid off, and then we know what we're looking at on our figures.
Talk to them and make sure see if that's gonna be all right. I don't wanna lose the $15,000.
I feel like it will, but I'll give him a call and make sure. I think it will.
Okay, one order of business before we go. Due to what happened last, I want to be able to have y'all tell me exactly what you want as far as the time, the days that you want this packet sent to you. After we get that packet out, we take no more business. We don't bring up any other business under other unless it's come from the audience. Because, I mean, you know, it's awful easy to say that we put some kind of business under other business, and it calls for us to be making a decision right then and there instead of having time to be able to look for it. So when do you want these?
I like to have the packet at least 2 weeks in advance of our meeting.
2 weeks is, I don't leave you, but 2 weeks to have anything to.
What about 10 days?
All right, 10 days.
10 days.
The handbook says 5 days, doesn't it?
Yeah, the
The handbook,
TCA
it
code says
does
5
say
days,
that.
yeah.
I need to have.
Tennessee government, I mean.
Okay,
says
put it
5
this
days,
way,
yeah.
Jim. I need to have everything that somebody wants to run through the commission at least 10 days before the
That's your
commission meeting.
cutoff date.
And that way I'll be able to get it together. Now, I also am going to send it out myself, and I would like to be reimbursed for the postage. Diane apologized for me for it not getting out the last time. She has got a lot on her, and I don't mind taking care of that kind of put package together and getting it sent out.
We can, Bob, I've got enough in my budget, we'll pay for the postage. You can bring it, we'll provide the postage.
Okay, I'll just let y'all stamp it off and I'll just take it out. Okay.
And
Now,
we'll run the copies, and then that way we'll give them to you, that way you'll know they're made.
okay. All right, now, what else did I say about, oh yeah, I need to know about other business.
I don't think you ought to have it on there.
There's no other business.
No other business, because we have,
You wouldn't have it 5
wouldn't
days
have-
ahead.
yeah.
I got 2 things springed up under other business.
what?
We just said no other
Better get it
business.
in tonight.
Starting next month, right?
Yeah. Shut
I
that
don't know
off.
that you can cut out on a regular meeting other business. Some things that you have to, it may be an emergency, you may,
Show that to-
I mean, you
show
can
that to
limit
Jim,
it,
too,
you
when
can
you
say
get-
no resolution.
Tell him, show that.
But to cut out other business could be really
Well,
timely.
that is the problem that I got into, Mike, was I was waiting till make sure that everybody could get their stuff in, and then I keep on getting a call, is it too late to put this in? And I'd say no, so that set me back another day, you know, and I need to have a cutoff date.
I'd do a cutoff date, and then what I would do is say, we're not doing any resolutions, which I've got a resolution, but no resolutions. What this is, so this is simple. This is a litter grant, and it's just authorizing me again to apply.
to do
for
it.
it.
Does that get into the county handbook deal where you can't?
Have it, unless you get it 5 days ahead of time.
We didn't have it on the agenda
No.
5 days ahead of time.
Right, I
No,
know.
it's not under other business. The reason you got other business.
So why do we have an agenda?
Well, you've always had other business on it.
Yeah, there's another thing. Do you know that all we have to do is one time a year, put down the dates that we're gonna have our meetings, that's all we have to put?
Yes, I know that.
I mean,
That'd save us a lot of
you
money.
can say you're not going to act under other business, but I think you'd be handicapping yourself in case an emergency comes up.
All right, say if there's, well, if
You're
it's
right.
an emergency, that's fine.
Yeah, we all understand
Right.
emergencies, yeah.
But anything other than an emergency,
What this is a resolution to apply for the litter grant, which we've had for 20 years. or
Yeah, we
more.
do that every year.
And it costs the county nothing, and Russell Pascal takes the boys out from the jail and picks up on the county road. So that's what that is, and I need your approval so I can send that in to the state.
I make a motion, we accept it.
I'll second.
Okay, you heard that, Bobby? Bush. Bush was first. Reed was second.
All right. Russell Reed.
Yes.
Dot Holmgren.
Yes.
Dennis McNamara.
Yes.
Jim Bush.
Yes.
Kevin George.
Yes.
Tony Neal.
Yes.
Bob Stetson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And the other thing I have is, it does not require y'all to act on it, but the veterans want to name the new bridge at Beaver Dam, the Veterans Memorial Bridge. And they have typed up a resolution for Mark Pody and May Beavers to present to the state. Now, I'm sure when Pody and Beavers get this, they'll retype it, and they may not. They may take it just like it is. And they can do that, but the veterans want y'all on board. They want to be able to say that the commission
Is it-
asked us.
We have talked with,
Is it named anything else?
no,
Okay.
It isn't named anything as of now.
it's just Hills Creek.
They want to call it Cannon County Veterans Memorial Bridge. Once the new bridge is completed, TDOT will be responsible to put the signs.
And this is where I had talked about, remember at the last time when we got Lieutenant Walkup's bridge at Auburntown. I think it needed to be had, I mean, I'm part of this right here with the American Legion, so.
I'm gonna send this to Mr. Pody anyway, but I wanna be able to say that
Yeah.
the county commission's on board with it.
Everybody's fine with it, looks like?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I ask one more question for this?
Yes, please.
Did y'all give a time when y'all might get east side fire truck? Right here, 6 years?
No.
We never did.
No, we didn't.
Right
See,
now,
we're still discussing the 3-truck deal versus the 2-truck deal and stuff, so.
right now where it stands, we've approved to bid for loans
Yeah.
for $130,000 to buy Gasaway and west side of truck.
Right.
That's what that motion was.
Yeah, that's the way it was made, yeah.
How it was approved. And that's where we're at until we change that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you can't change that,
I ain't-
increase that.
I ain't saying we can't, I'm just saying that's where it's at right
I'm
now.
just saying, you know, my community is the water, you know.
Well,
As soon as the insurance companies find it out, it's about $100 per house they go up. As soon as they find out we don't have water. About $100 per house.
I don't see how we can do this tonight, Grady.
we're not going to tonight. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have motion, second, all in favor?
Get it.
My